Hi, this is Robert Wilkins, your BT dispatcher, bringing you news and commentary with a different flavor. Today, I'm bringing something to you that we are all hearing about. It's all on the news. It's about the National Guard going into Chicago and other places. But the thing is, right now, what I'm going to present to you is something that the mayor said today. But before we get started, if you're not subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do so right now, so that way you don't miss out on anything that I present to you. And also, at the conclusion of this, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, baby, if you like what I'm bringing to you. And stay tuned, because there's more headline news and other stories, plus my commentary to add to it with a different flavor. So here's what Mayor Brandon Johnson reported today on the news.
Last night I spoke with the governor, and he informed me that the Trump administration is deploying Texas National Guard to our city. We will speak to our response later today. We'll do that with the governor as well as the attorney general. For now, let me just say that we are unequivocally going to continue to reject the military occupation of our city. The Trump administration must end the war on Chicago. The Trump administration must end this war against Americans. The Trump administration must end its attempt to dismantle our democracy. Right as we are making historic progress in reducing violence, the Trump administration is seeking to destabilize our city and provoke chaos. We said that they would use ICE as a pretext to send in the National Guard, and now they are doing just that. I've also said for the last couple of years that the extreme right in this country refused to accept the results of the Civil War. They have repeatedly called for a rematch.
Wow. He said the extreme right in this country refused to accept the results of the Civil War. And we know about that because it's in our history books, and we've all learned about it, at least for those of us that were paying attention. But just to tell you a little bit who I am, I'm a former college basketball player, a police officer, a deputy sheriff, a state district court juvenile officer for the district court, as well as a juvenile justice specialist for 25 years. In the last 9 of those years, I was a supervisor of 5 counties on the state level. So I'm bringing my commentary from experience as well as life lived. But the thing about it, baby, it's not what you think. It's a very diverse book of knowledge and joy. But of course, right now, we're feeling a little pain, aren't we? And a little tension across this country. Let's see what more he has to say.
On Tuesday, federal immigration agents raided an apartment building in the South Shore community in the middle of the night. This building was managed by a slumlord that people have all been clear about. The city actually sued the owner in February over 15 building code violations. The residents were dealing with deplorable conditions already, and this was before ICE trampled on them. But when they came in the middle of the night, they terrorized the families that were living there. There were children who were without clothing. They were zip-tied, taken outside at 3 o'clock in the morning. A senior resident, an American citizen, with no warrants, was taken outside and handcuffed for 3 hours. Doors were blown off their hinges, walls were broken through. Immigration agents coming from Black Hawk helicopters to set up snipers on nearby buildings. This is America. One resident described the situation plainly, and I quote, "They had immigrants in one van and black people in another van." This raid wasn't about public safety. It was about and it's certainly not about immigration. This was about a show of authoritarianism, a forceful display of tyranny.
Wow. The National Guard has no warrants. People are being massed all over the place, as well as armed, pointing weapons at people, zip tying folks, and of course, storming buildings, just like the stuff we see in the movies. But it's real and it's happening on our soil. This is like stuff we used to see on television, on the news in third world countries. And now it's here in the United States. Do you think it's necessary? Really? Do you think it's necessary? I don't. I'm a former officer. I know what it's like to even point a gun at somebody. But the only time I did something like that, it was to protect the life of that individual or maybe myself. I recall a time where this man who was a husband and held his wife hostage with a knife, holding her hostage with a knife at her throat. Yes, I had my gun out, pointing it dead at him. Of course, he got talked down and surrendered peacefully. But now we're dealing with something much worse than this. And the thing about it is, we're always talking about blue states, red states, blue states. Aren't you tired of that? Because there's blue and red in every state. Think about it. Just because a person may have won something that possessed 55% of the vote, let's say they're blue, but then the other 45% is red. And meanwhile, the 45% get punished with the blue. Now, how we gotten to this point? It could be so bad. It's beyond being our favorite sports team. It's dealing with us, Americans, human beings. We're talking about life and death now. We're talking about being snatched up, and you may be a bona fide American and sent off to a camp where no one would ever see you again because it's a life sentence. Hey, I'm not bashing our country. I love this country. That I am an American. I obey every city, state, and federal law. I went to court a lot. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help? Think about that. And here today, I feel like we can't even trust those, the head of our law enforcement. How do you feel about that? Because it's just so much lying going on, so much cover up. And think about this. If you're the head of the Justice Department and you're doing the bidding of our top leader, nobody on the federal level is going to get prosecuted when you really think about it. ICE and those that's dishing out the agenda of our leader, and they're being very aggressive. They're doing things that normal police officers, we wouldn't dare do because there are laws that govern us all, because officers have to obey the same laws as pedestrians. Think about that. And now we're seeing force like we've never seen in this country. We are experiencing something that we've never experienced before. And the thing about it is, I think it's going to get worse before it get better. And for those of you that's rooting on the side of the red compared to those of you on the side of the blue, and by the way, I'm independent, just for your information. I don't belong to a party. I listen to the facts. I go in the direction of the truth or what I think is in my best interest or my family's interest. And we're so grounded into the red and the blue. I believe there's something in the scriptures that we need to know about. Second Thessalonians in the Bible, in that second chapter. I highly encourage all of you, please read that. It talks about the lawless one. It talks about the coming of the lawless one. It talks about who is the Antichrist, who's getting people believe all sorts of things, and they too will go down with him. This is an awakening for all of us. Remember the joy that we all had. Remember, there was a sense of peace where you can go anywhere in this country you wanted to. Some places you didn't want to go to, and we knew those places to stay away from, right? And just because we have the National Guard in these places right now, it's not going to be permanent. But think about this. We possess more weapons in this country than all countries combined in the world. And it's not like the old days, pre-civil rights. Right now, everybody's heavily armed. And I'm surprised in today's time that there's much order that it has been, considering all these guns that we have that's distributed among us all. It's not just one group of people possess them. In this country, everybody's got them now. And talking about calling for civil war, how would that look when tragedy or death comes to your door? I don't want that. And I know you don't neither. So let's stop buying into this divisiveness that we're hearing and seeing and disrespect. Wow. If we don't, tragedy is coming to all our doors. And then before you know it, neighbor will be against neighbor because it's heading in that direction. It's happening already. But we still have time to stop it. But how? How? Because I truly believe the way things are going right now, there won't be another presidential election. That's just my hunch. And I think you feel the same way too. This Robert Wilkins, your BT dispatcher. Go ahead, give me a thumbs up, baby, if you like this report. And stay tuned because there's going to be many more headline news that I'll be sharing with you with my flavor. See you next time.